What's up, comic book fans? Pete here from Comic Books Transformed, where me and my good friend Brian over there discuss comic books that have been adapted into movies and streaming shows. Today we're covering a special. We're not even covering like a full-on show. We're covering Punisher: One Last Kill, which I think Brian and I watched like 2 weeks ago. So we'll see how in-depth our coverage goes. Brian, 2 weeks
Yeah.
ago, did you enjoy watching this?
Yeah, we're a month late to the party on this one. I actually did. I had no desire to watch this.
Yeah.
Uh, I guess I used to read a lot of Punisher when I was younger. I actually dressed up as the Punisher in the 5th grade for Halloween.
Oh my God.
But like I guess some like I don't know. Sometimes there are some people in the real world that kind of take that symbol and use it, and it kind of bugs me in a way. And I know they've
Yeah.
kind of addressed that in these Marvel shows, really. But I wasn't looking forward to watching this at all. And I think I watched 10, 15 minutes first and had to stop, and I came back to it later. And I actually really did like it.
Yeah. You are a big fan of the Raid movies, right?
Oh, yes. I love the Raid. And that's what this felt like.
Right. Yeah. I've never seen the Raid or Raid 2, but like I just felt like, okay, this is essentially the Raid. I know that like the Carl Urban Judge Dredd movie was sort of like the Raid meets Judge Dredd, and I just felt like this was the Raid meets Punisher.
Yeah. Yes. Pretty much, yeah.
So I think that like if we're gonna start this discussion, we should talk about John Bernthal's portrayal of Frank Castle. Like, do you have issues with the way that he plays Frank Castle? Do you kind of accept it as its own thing? How do you feel about it?
I think it works. There is such an intensity in John Bernthal's performances in general. I think it
Yeah.
works really well for the character. I don't know if I feel like I don't know how to define like what the Punisher should be. So I don't think it's necessarily bad or off or wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that something that people think or say? That I have not heard that before.
Mhm. I've heard some people complain about his version of the Punisher. I actually saw a couple of videos when this came out, right? Because you were just saying that you don't know if you have like this definitive version of how the Punisher should be. But I think that if I was describing the Punisher to someone that's not a big comic book fan, I would say that he's actually very similar to Batman, where he's like extremely serious, driven, plans out everything, thinks of all the contingencies, has a whole bunch of weapons, but the main difference is that he kills people, he slaughters people, whereas Batman tries not to kill anyone and he'll murder anyone, like no matter how small their crime is. He just has no problem putting someone in the ground. So I feel like John Bernthal's Punisher is a different kind of animal because he almost acts like kind of primal. He like certainly like grunts and kind of roars when he's fighting people. And I know that like the Punisher might do that in some panels, but I always kind of see him as like quiet, but just shooting people to bits with a machine gun.
Okay, so a lot more of a colder approach. I mean,
Yeah.
how would you compare this to? I mean, I guarantee you haven't seen this in ages, but how would you compare this to like the Dolph Lundgren Punisher, or the Ray Stevenson Punisher, or the Thomas Jane Punisher, or the cartoon versions of Punisher?
Well, it's kind of a funny question for me to answer because I think the only one I've seen fully straight through is the Thomas Jane one. Otherwise, the Dolph Lundgren one, like I probably have seen bits of it on HBO when I was a kid. I never saw Punisher Warzone, which is the one with Ray Stevens.
I haven't either.
And, okay, there you go. And then like I know he's on Spider-Man the animated series. He's probably in other animated things, but like I barely remember him in that. It like the Punisher for me, it's always like he's the one that you bring into another superhero's book, like specifically Spider-Man or Daredevil, where like his extreme take is just going to clash with their way of handling out justice, you know?
See,
So I think that's his purpose.
It's funny. I mean, obviously he debuted in a Spider-Man comic, but I honestly think my favorite thing with the Punisher is the Punisher Max comic. And
Yeah.
that was, for the most part, completely unattached to anything. There
Right.
might have been some like minor cameos here, but I think he works best in that kind of a world, where
Mhm.
because there is like a different level of hyperviolence, I think, when it comes
Mhm.
to the Punisher. And I know you can look at like Wolverine comics or something like that and see him stabbing people with claws and whatever, but something there's still something comic booky about that. Over a guy hunting down criminal families with guns and explosives. So I
Yes.
honestly do think he works best on his own when he can get to that level of hyper violence, and this special sort of does that in a way. But I see what you're saying about the kind of intensity that John Bernthal brings. Like he was the same way as Shane in The Walking Dead, and God, what else has he been in that I can name that he does this? But he does this in everything. He screams and
Yeah.
yells, "Madman!" And you're right,
Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
very primal.
He has a pretty upsetting role in like the second season of The Bear.
Okay,
Because he plays the main guy's brother in that, but the main guy's brother's dead. And in a flashback, he's in a pretty upsetting scene.
does he scream and yell?
Yeah, he screams and yells. He like throws a fork at Bob Odenkirk. So it gets intense. It flips over a table. Yeah, it's bad. Jamie Lee Curtis crashes a car through the living room wall by that point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's a lot of
spoilers
names.
for The Bear. Yeah, but I really like him in season 2 of Daredevil, where like you have that conflict right there, where they're fighting. I like that he calls Daredevil Red. I liked when he showed up in Daredevil Born Again, but I've never seen the Netflix Punisher show, like any of the Netflix Punisher
I
stuff.
haven't either.
Yeah, but you mentioned Punisher Max, and that's the thing. That's like written by Garth Ennis, who's really good at writing disturbing, violent things. We just finished reviewing The Boys. Like that is a great book. That's my main Punisher book that I've followed in my life. But I've seen all kinds of weird iterations of the Punisher. I didn't watch. I read a comic. I think it was by either Matthew Rosenberg. I think it was Matthew Rosenberg, where like he gets a War Machine suit of armor and goes to another country and like liberates the country with that suit of armor. I've seen him like get turned into like a Frankenstein monster, where it was like Frankencastle. Do you remember that?
I remember Frankencastle. I also one of my favorite things was the What If comic. What if Wolverine turned into the Lord of the Vampires, and the Punisher was actually like the protagonist in that.
Yep. I remember that too, actually. Yeah, and then there's this kind of controversial one where, for whatever reason, the Punisher becomes a black man. Like he has like surgery or something done so that he becomes
Oh
a
my
black
God,
man.
I remember that.
Yeah. And they kind of just like they don't even like really just kind of address it. They just like turn him back to white, and then they just like never refer to that ever again.
Probably a good move.
Yeah. I'm glad it didn't happen in this, but I think the one thing that I would point out that I liked about this was that there's a cameo from a guy from the Wire. I'm just trying to find his name in here. He played Bubbles in The Wire, and let's see, Benny. Let's see. No, I don't know. Whatever. I didn't do enough research for this, but I was really happy. He was the guy that owned the diner, and his daughter was the little girl that was nice to Frank at the end.
Yes.
Yeah. So I like that. Like
no, that guy looked really familiar. I have not watched The Wire, but I do remember seeing that guy and thinking, oh, is it Andre Royo?
that's very possible. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, Andre Royo. That is 1,000% him. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah. He's really good in The Wire. There was this other show that I started watching. Wasn't really that great, but it was called The Burrows. Had another guy from The Wire. Like The Wire is like my second or third favorite TV show of all time. It's just incredible. So I was happy to see him in it. Yeah. But then the rest I thought was just sort of kind of cheesy. What about you?
So let me get. I remember the reason why I wasn't excited to watch it actually too is that I had read that it completely doesn't connect to his appearance in Daredevil Born Again, season 1, and apparently it doesn't. It also doesn't really connect to his appearance in Spider-Man: Brand New Day. So it really is like a complete like standalone sort of thing here. And I guess the overall premise is that somehow like Frank has kind of lost his mojo. He's going a little nuts, and he gets kind of hunted down, and it kind of recenters himself and his purpose, I guess. The I had some. There are some other weird issues I have with this too. Is that he does all this like hyper violence stuff. And this is this little girl that's the daughter of the guy who was the diner, and she like witnesses all of it, and she still like is not completely unfazed by it. It bothered me a little bit. The whole reason that all these kind of criminals come after him is that there's a bounty put on his head by this the widow of a mob family that he killed, which they kind of show you in passing, I guess, but they didn't really give you any information as to what that was about. I guess they had some tangential relation to the death of his family, but I don't know. Maybe that was were these characters from the Netflix show? I have no idea. That's what I want to know.
I don't think so. I think that they're kind of just made for this special.
Yeah. And then kind of at the end, like he sees the lady that called out the hit, and I know it's like the choice, like, oh, he can save the diner guy or he can go after the lady, but the lady just like gets away. Yeah, and I feel like they're just never gonna do anything with her ever again, and that's gonna be it. And that's like a weird open thread.
Yes, and that brings up a great point, because when that lady gave her speech, that's when I was cringing the hardest. I felt like her speech was so dramatic, and there's these cuts. It's such a weird beast, this special, because there's these cuts to him slaughtering every member of her family, and the violence is so intense when he kills them, but then the woman's acting and her dialogue is not on the same level. It's like you have these like horror movie style kills, but then this sort of like gritty Disney kind of dialogue, and it doesn't work. There's a clash there. Do you know what I'm talking about? Or
yeah, I do, and I also was very confused during that speech, because it seemed like at first I thought that she was a sympathetic character that was trying to appeal to Frank because she also lost her family and wanted his help, and then I'm like, oh no, Frank's the one that did it. Oh, okay. So I found that very confusing. That should have been a little clearer, I think. Front, I think. And I think they could have achieved that by maybe setting up that a little earlier in the episode, and then just getting to the hyper violence. And now I enjoyed that whole sequence. I thought it was really, really good. There was a comical amount of criminals though that died. Yeah. Like I think I've killed less enemies in a video game before, than that died in this episode here. And, and then the best part of all was Hatebreed. That song just gets you pumped. Wreck shit up. And it totally went well with this, because they played like the entire song.
They really did. It was I Will Be Heard, right? Is the name of the song? Yeah. I remember that from back in the day where I actually like listened to that band. I actually really loved that fucking sequence. It kind of reminded me of like hearing Slayer in that episode of Invincible.
Yes.
But I you're making me laugh when you're talking about this montage, because it's funny. I had the exact same experience. Like when the woman's in the wheelchair and she's talking to him, it seems like, oh, another family executed her family. So you're like, oh, she's gonna recruit Frank to go kill them. So like you just see people getting shot or like stabbed or whatever, like one of them's in a strip club or something. And and then she has like her beloved son who's like a teenager, and he's like this like super sweet Italian boy, like, Mama, I'll get the door for you, right? And then like you just see Frank's fucking skull shirts.
Oh no! Wait. The best is that he says, "Mama, don't worry about me," as he's getting like curb stomped or whatever.
Right. He gets fucking curb stomped. But I'm not going to make a reference to a political thing that, like, no way. But, like, there's a thing that the Punisher, he's kneeling on the kid's neck. Okay?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's like, so gross. I honestly, I don't think Frank Castle in the comics would do that. I don't think that he would kneel on a teenage kid's neck in front of their mom.
I don't think so, no. And I don't see why he wouldn't have killed the wife at that point, the mom.
Right. So I mean, that was like a funny moment where it's like, oh, it seems like she's trying to recruit him, and then it's like, oh wait, there's the Punisher symbol. Like he's the one that killed the whole family. And yeah, and then like basically she unleashes like Blackgate Prison on him. I understand that's DC, but like, you know, like all these guys run, and it is like a video game, like you said. Did you find that the amount of people thrown at him and how he was able to kind of dispatch them with ease made it feel like there was nothing to it?
I on one hand, I think that the purpose here was to give it some kind of a challenge or something, you know, and I guess you would need to have that amount of people to kind of extend the sequence.
Yeah,
because they are dispatched very quickly in general. There's no one that really lasts very long. So the only way to make the sequence last in that sense is to keep throwing more bodies at it, I guess. So I didn't really have a problem with it. I mean, I imagine in real life that would be impossible. But you know what? That's not what this is. So, yeah, I guess I was fine with that aspect of it.
yeah. I mean, the sequence itself has a very intense beginning, right? Because they spill gasoline under his apartment door and set it on fire, and he's on fire at first. He's like charging up. He's like, and he like runs out. And I guess the act of running extinguishes the flames. You know?
Yeah, that I don't know if that works with when your feet are soaked in gasoline.
Right. And then it's like a video game where he's like going around corners, like headshotting people and stuff. Of course, we have to talk about that one image that they made fun of that they said looked like a cutscene from a video game from like the early 2000s. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't remember it. No.
So there's a part where he's on the roof and he goes down to a lower level because I think he gets knocked off the roof by a criminal, and it's kind of in slow motion, and he lands on top of, I don't know, like a metal. I don't know if it's like a. I don't know what the fuck it is, just some metal that, you know, collapses underneath him.
Yeah.
And like he's clearly a digital person when he lands on the.
Oh, you know. Man, I didn't even notice that. I'll have to go back and check that out.
Yeah. I mean, it might be worth just like, you know, look it up on YouTube, like bad CGI and Punisher, one last kill.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to talk about too is that a lot of this violence and the scenes in the beginning where Frank's kind of losing his mind, he sees like a kind of like a vision of his ex-military squad, and he talks to his daughter a lot, who's deceased, and the whole time I'm thinking like, by the end they show like two graves or something like that. I'm like, he has two kids, and I'm like, he completely ignores the son completely.
Yeah.
Like wife, don't care. Son, don't care. Daughter, you're the one I'm talking to.
Yeah.
I found that very strange that he's so hyper focused on the daughter rather than, you know, being a little more even, I guess.
No, I get it. I think it was probably just to make the connection between the girl that he saves at the end.
Okay. Yeah, I suppose that makes sense.
Yeah, but what I actually. Like, I felt like this didn't need to be in there, but I thought it was a good twist, was they almost implied that he wasn't necessarily the best parent either, right? Like, they showed that, like, his wife felt like he was distant or had issues, that he wouldn't read to his daughter. Do you remember that part?
Yeah, I mean, he probably wasn't around a lot. He's obviously a very intense person. So I think that probably shines through even in his family life, regardless of how he's kind of remembering how things were and all that.
Right. I actually, that's one of my favorite kind of cliches about vengeance-driven characters, when like they have this sort of rose-colored view of the person they lost or the life that they lost, and then when they look back, it's like, oh, maybe it wasn't as good as they're making it, you know?
Yeah, but it's kind of like all they have left to hang on to that kind of motivates their vengeance. So yeah, it's a good trope, I'd say.
Right. One last thing we got to talk about is I love the opening where these like thugs just take this homeless man's dog and then just throw it underneath the car. Like,
I mean, I'm glad that those guys got like wrecked at the end. You know, that guy's like that. He gives the hat back. He's like, they took my dog, and then he's like, oh, you took his dog. Fuck you, man. You dead.
Right. That's the last shot. It's the shot that's behind us right now.
Yep.
Where the Punisher's essentially looking at the guy and he's like, "Is it worth killing him?" And the homeless man's like, "Yeah, it is," and then he kills the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's the point where I know you said, and I kind of agree with you too, that I think he works really well opposite Daredevil, but I don't think it works as well with Spider-Man. And I'm almost like not excited to see him in the Spider-Man movie because I don't think the dynamic works as well because Spider-Man's a lot, brighter and I guess essentially the same conflict is there, but the world seems different,
Of course, yeah.
It doesn't seem like people are going to get shot or just mangled or whatever like that. I don't think they show any blood whatsoever in any of the Spider-Man movies, really.
Yeah.
So it seems like too much of a mismatch to me for now, for today's age, rather than back when the comic, when his original issue appeared in, God, was it early '80s or no, not '80s? Is it '60s?
Spider-Man. Are we talking about Punisher or are we talking about Spider-Man?
Punisher.
Oh, maybe '70s. I think maybe.
Was it early '70s? It is something like that.
Yeah, I don't think he's '60s. I'm pretty sure. I know the cover where it's like him saying like this, and then
the Target. Yeah.
Target. And I feel like that's like Steve Ditko drew that, but I could be completely wrong too.
Yeah.
We could look that up. Well, I bet you'll look it up while
I'm doing it
right now. Okay.
74, February 1974.
74. Okay, so all right, I was close. No, I know. I somehow this fucking movie's gonna have the Punisher and the Hulk in it and the Hand. I have like no idea what the fuck this movie's gonna be. When is it coming out?
And God, is it end of the month or is it early July? No, Supergirl's the end of the month. I think this is early July.
Wow, we got a lot of things. We got Masters of the Universe. We got Supergirl. We got Brand New Day.
And then we're doing Spider-Noir currently now too, and then we'll have Lanterns at the end of the summer.
Jesus, yeah. We're
X-Men,
yeah.
X-Men '97 too.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. That trailer looks so fucking good. Yes. Well, I mean, do you have anything else you want to say about Punisher?
No, that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. Okay, well, guys, that was our shot talking about Punisher, our first time covering Punisher on this channel. If you liked our review, make sure that you like and subscribe. Tell us what you thought about this special. And we make sure that we will be back here grunting while we get it on too. We'll see you guys next time.